recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
You're listening to Zed Games. I'm Paul, and joining me are my good friends Natalia.
Yes.
And Tom.
Howdy.
And I'm in the flesh this time.
You are in the flesh.
I'm not cooling in from a public bench on the Melbourne.
Yes, we have all returned from Melbourne International Games Week and PAX, so we'll be doing a lot of talk about that tonight. But before we get too crazy into that, let's just do a little bit of news. News. Whoop. Thank you. Okay, we've just got a few little things mostly today, and then a thing that I'm going to be informed about. So first up, the Banjo-Kazooie director has finally left Rare after 36 years. So I'm not sure how many of the OG crew are left now, but I don't think Banjo's coming back.
I feel like he was the last bastion over there from like the OG classic British Rareware days.
Yes, but I mean, they're gone anyway. And even Rare on their own was like, oh, we don't actually want to just exploit our old IPs anymore. So they weren't fighting to bring those back. But yeah, they just had their Everglade, their not ship of their not pirate game, which is the same.
Yeah.
Oh, Sea of Thieves.
Not Sea of Thieves.
No, not Sea of Thieves. The one that they announced before they had a design document, and then it cancelled it like a week ago.
Yeah, Everwild.
Everwild.
Oh,
there we go.
One.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Pretty sure it was like 3 months ago.
Time is an illusion. You'll find that when you're an old person like I am. Speaking of people leaving, the Halo art director has left the studio after 17 years. So, not quite 36.
No, but, Halo's also not as old as Rareware, so that's fine.
It's also been through a lot of weird changes throughout the years, so I wonder what the rest of the crew is like still.
Yeah, I do. I just wonder if Halo if it can ever get back to that position culturally. Xbox themselves are sort of dropping their own identity to become more on the publishing side. Halo could be big, don't get me wrong, but I wonder if the last sort of decade of Halo has just diminished it to being just a popular game. Yeah,
I think after the last couple of entries not having like the clearest of narratives, where it was like, the first trilogy plus Reach and ODST, of course, you had like a very clear story arc, and then 4 came out and you're like, oh, there's going to be a little bit more, and then like, and 5, and no one remembers what happens in 5. And then Infinite came out, but then it didn't, and then it did.
But you also had to get the full story, you also had to play Halo Wars. And
stop talking about Halo Wars.
They also cancelled the co-op for the single player campaign, which feels like that's the point of Halo.
Yeah. It is weird as you get these. Like it'd not even be true. Haven't stayed with Gears of War, but not having Gears of War as local co-op would just be, why would I even look at this?
Yeah, and over the years, I feel like Gears of War has almost become Xbox's flagship title more than Halo. Yeah, in a way.
That's the thing, right? The game is being released on PlayStation. Gears of War is already being released on PlayStation, which is, I think, identity. It's gone.
Well, Mario's our last one that won't move. Although you did get some of the Sonic Mario Olympic Games on other consoles.
Yeah, so, what other consoles?
I'm sure it was.
No.
Oh gosh.
I disagree.
I'm going to get fact-checked myself. But let's move on to someone else that's left their long-term position. The boss of the Assassin's Creed franchise has left Ubisoft after 20 years.
Wow.
So, yes. I bet they'll still make another Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Are they going to cancel another one?
Yeah, well, they did cancel one leak this week that was cancelled. It was a post-Civil War sort of one, which...
And you were going to be playing as a freed slave turned assassin, and you were going to be going after the early Ku Klux Klan members, and they cancelled that. quote is that they cancelled it because they were concerned of the current political climate, but I
feel someone's probably like, well, if it were true, I feel like no one would say it.
Yes.
And if it's not true, I feel like someone's just editorializing a bit, because like we still have like the next bunch of Assassin's Creed games announced. So it was probably just in some sort of pre-production, and who knows, maybe they'll even go back to it.
Hey,
we'll see.
It might have been a Vita exclusive that we never saw.
Oh, sweet. What was that? That 3 spin-off that was on the Vita.
Oh, yeah, it was
that was Liberation.
Yeah. It was okay.
Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah, all good. Then speaking of sort of things getting cancelled, Heart Machine, the makers of Hyper Light Drifter, have said that they've let go a lot of the staff, and Hyper Life Breaker, the sequel, is not really going to be developed any further. What? They're just sort of finishing up what they're done at the moment. It just hasn't done any numbers.
That's heartbreaking. Aren't they also working on another, like a Metroidvania that's coming out?
It's one of those things. Yes, they're working on another game that's an authored game, which is what people sort of wanted more, because Hyperlight Breaker is a roguelike multiplayer randomized game, and that was not what the original was, and so it did not open to great fanfare. Other things coming up, we also just know that the Summer Game Fest annual live show will return on June 5th, 2026. Wow. But now, the big news that I have to be sold on, because I don't understand the Pokémon.
Well, there has been an alleged data leak over at Pokemon. And they're like all of these leaks, take it with a grain of salt. Of course, the people over at Nintendo and Pokemon Company have been DMCA striking any of the pages or accounts that have been uploading the assets from this supposed data leak. And the interesting information of this data leak is that they have their upcoming game releases in the Pokemon series through 2030, as well as a couple of little interesting tidbits here and there.
Tell me the tidbits.
How about the budgets of these games?
I mean, they have all the money in the world anyway.
Yeah, but they're not spending it.
No, they don't.
So Pokemon Sword and Shield, adjusted for US dollars, is roughly 16.4 million. And Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was upped to a whopping 21.8 million. And just as a comparison, how much was like the latest Call of Duty game?
It was only like $500 million.
Yeah, only about $500 million. I think Ghosts of Yote was about 60 million. So
that's lower than I thought. Yeah, that's
good. Considering that it is like the franchise that makes the most money ever, you'd think that it would, have a little bit more money put into it. And I think that's what a lot of people have been saying over the years, is like, this is like a massive franchise. Everyone wants to see more of it. They expect great things from it, and some of the older fan base is feeling very let down with every release.
Yeah, I think I make fun of the Pokemon and everything, but it's also there's something to be understood about being quite conservative Japanese companies with like, well, this is what we do. This is our size. Well, just because we make a lot of money doesn't mean we change what we do. So it's like the expectations are, of course, you expand and you spend that money to make an amazing product, but I have a feeling, much like Nintendo themselves, the bosses are just like, I like the size of my team.
Yeah.
I guess it also comes down to the fact that I wonder, I haven't looked at the numbers, but like how much of the money that the Pokemon franchise makes comes from those games versus all of the licensing for other like little projects and like merch and like the Pokemon cards. Like I think they probably make enough money.
Oh, all on their own.
I
was actually just going to check, but it doesn't really matter. I was thinking the budgets, that would actually probably be less than some of the sales, right? So if it's like 16 million, did they sell more than 16 million copies? Because that's just time.
I think they've all sold multiple millions over and over. They've definitely...
They certainly have, but I just think about individual instances. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, so give me a quick rundown. What is it coming up?
Coming up, 2026, we have the Generation 10 Pokemon Wind and Wave, based on Southeast Asia from current leaks, but that one looks like it has more development and model changes for the Pokemon, which is what we all want to see. We're sick of seeing the same models from the 3DS era. Then 2027, they've got DLC for that game. There's going to be another Pokemon Legends based on the Galar region, which is the one that's vaguely British. But the big one is Codename Seed, which is going to be an online multiplayer, multi-region game. So first Pokemon MMO that's going to be across the Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh regions. So all the regions that are based on Japan, inspired by Japan and stuff like that. So if that's for real, that would be a cool thing to see. It's what a lot of people have wanted to see for a long time. As a matter of fact, every time there is a Pokemon-like that comes out, the first thing they say is, we're going to have an MMO mode where everyone's online. R.I.P. Temtem.
Is Temtem dead?
I think they've done more spin-offs since, like they're not prioritizing, or they stopped at least development.
I mean, I was more of a Cassette Beasts kind of guy.
Great soundtrack on that one.
Yeah.
And the co-op. There's a co-op.
It's a good game.
Oh, it's awesome. So just before we leave, a couple of upcoming game releases. Tomorrow, much to my surprise, I did not know this was coming, is Double Fine's new game, Keeper.
Oh, crap. Yeah. That's tomorrow? Wow.
Yeah. Along with Lumo 2. Keeper's on PC and Xbox. Lumo 2 for PC, Xbox, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch 1 and 2. Then October 22nd should see the reboot of Painkiller for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Jurassic World Evolution 3 for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Ninja Gaiden 4 for PC, Xbox, and PS5. And I can't believe I'm saying this, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 for PC, Xbox Series X, and PlayStation.
Silk Song last month, Vampire Masquerade this month. It looks like things are becoming real for once. It's crazy.
Bloodborne remake coming up next. You heard it here first, folks.
Shadow Drop tonight.
Woo! That's right. We've got all the hottest breaking news.
So you're listening to Zed Games, is that it?
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Hello, you're listening to Zed Games.
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 Perfect.
Welcome back to Zed Games. We have returned from Melbourne, and Natalia went over and above our normal task down there, and you went down way early to get Melbourne Games Week going.
I mean, I thought that if I was going to fly down for Melbourne, I might as well see Melbourne. And I think I might have Melbourne too close to the sun. I definitely am still recovering, but it was a really, really cool trip. I think for me, having only been to like the Queensland Games Festival, for example, and the Indie Dev Nights, I was really excited to see the kind of Australian games community on the large. And I was very grateful to be going with a lot of really cool people from the local scene, like small developers and like different like games journalists and stuff like that. So I felt it was very Brisbane.
It was funny by the time I got down there. I was like, oh, I'll introduce you to... It's like, oh, I already met them. I know them. Oh, we were hanging out. Like, well, I guess I'm useless now. Off you go, Natalia.
Well, I think for me, I did go to all like the proper... There felt like a very strict divide between the industry side of things and then the more independent, like small side of things.
Yes.
So the week started with an interactive audio event called High Score. More on that later, maybe. But it was a cool event. Then it was meant to be GCAP, which is the game... I don't know what it actually stands for.
Actually, I don't either. I just say GCAP, yeah.
GCAP is like the GEDC of Australian game development. And it is a very industry-focused event. Like, it's a lot of panels.
Games Connect Asia Pacific.
Games Connect Asia Pacific, there you go. And it was a very... I was very fortunate to get an assist ticket, so I didn't have to pay for it. And... yeah, it was really interesting because it was a lot more industry focused in a way that kind of felt like sanitized. We've been hearing so much about the amount of layoffs that are happening, how difficult it is to take off in the games publishing world, I guess. How even successful teams with big backing can still flop because of like not the right kind of...
Oh, of course,
there's a really good piece by a friend of mine, Rio, who is basically talking about Arca's flop, even though it was a game backed by Panic and stuff like that. And I think that at GCAP, it felt like very clean, whereas I didn't go to the first day of GCAP because I went to another event called FreeCon, which is an event organized by local, small, independent developers. When I walked in, one of the first things it said is no photos or videos. It is very much like a small event where you're just hanging out with the developers, actually getting to speak to them on a person-to-person level. It revealed just how it's very easy to see layoffs and just think of numbers, but there are people behind those numbers. And I think that's why later in the week, I also really enjoyed the event Parallels.
Yes,
because it felt
we
like
were all at that one.
It was the bridge between the industry side and a very structured kind of thing, and just like a free form developers talking about their experiences making games. It was at the Melbourne Town Hall. And there was 8 developers who were working on games coming out in the next, let's say, year or two. And they gave some really cool talks where we got to see like the human side of game making.
Yeah. It's over the years, it's been very interesting. Sometimes there'll be a developer getting up where I'm like really interested in their game and like, oh, what's happened? And the talk is just about they're dealing with like loss in their family or something. It's like, oh. That's right, because this can be sort of anything you want on this platform. This is just, expressing yourself and how, as a developer, how you're doing it. So you're not sitting down having like in-depth dives into the tech behind games or anything. It's really just their philosophies or their feelings or just showing off how they got to where they were.
Yeah, I think especially it's very easy to mythologize, like we've seen with Silksong, we've seen with Expedition 33, of like, can you believe only 3 people made this game? Which is true. It is a very impressive feat. But I also think that it's important to acknowledge that games don't happen in a vacuum. They are supported by the communities of people around the game developers. And I specifically want to shout out the talk by, the game is called Delphinium. It's a solo developed game by this independent basically she's been working on this game since she graduated high school. The second she finished, she went on to like work on this, and it started as like a small farming sim kind of thing where you tell the story of 2 people getting to know each other.
It was supposed to be 2 characters and a basic farming sim.
Yeah, but then as the game grew and they added stuff that they wanted to, whatever, it got really out of scope. And she talked about how, like, that it was meant to take a month, and it's taken 5 years to make. And it's finally at a point. It's a gorgeous looking game. I got to play a bit of it at the GCAP like game lounge, I guess. And it feels like a really cool story driven town game, kind of like a Stardew Valley or whatever. But it's finite. It finishes, and it tells a story about connection. And she talks about how just before she came up, she leaned on her mum made her like food because she couldn't afford to do it for herself. Yeah, and it made her realize that game development and game it doesn't happen in a vacuum. When you're looking or playing at a game, it's very easy to be like, oh, this just exists.
Yeah. And speaking of that game as well, it is not coming out soon because it's also getting a Kickstarter very shortly.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can look that up if you're just to see the game. The art style is very, very nice. And if you like cozy relationships,
it has like a 3D, like a what's called like the triangle strategy. Square Enix
that 2D HD they call it in the Squeenix world. But it has a bit of its own charm to it as well.
Massive shout out to Danny, who recently subscribed for the 7th year in a row. According to my calculations, that's a long time. We seriously couldn't do what we do without your support. So, from everyone at the station, thank you.
What a lovely sub thanks there.
That was so dorky.
With a lovely, sultry voice for us all to appreciate.
It continues to haunt me because I thought it was funny, but it's
great.
It's very funny.
Lovely.
We love it.
Okay,
you got to express yourself.
Actually,
don't you dare express yourself. This is my show. Ooh, I'm going to turn you down now. No. You're listening to Foot Triple Z. This is Zed Games. I'm Paul. That's Natalia.
Yep.
That's Tom.
Howdy.
And we are here talking about, Melbourne's International Games Week and PAX specifically.
Yes.
If you do not know what PAX is, it was originally the Penny Arcade Expo, but now it is just more efficiently as PAX. Kind of like how GOG used to be Good Old Games, but it's now just GOG.
It's just GOG.
Yeah. So it is a community-focused sort of 3-day gaming festival covering video games, tabletop gaming, and everything associated with it. So there's the people that love their cosplay, there's just role play, everything. There's panels. We put on our panel. Our panel was on Harvester, the game from 1996, totally controversial. It went very well. We like to do some of those sort of trashy breakdowns every year. But yeah, it's become a bit of a sabbatical for me every year. I go down and I just immerse myself in games. And I think this year I might have had the most post-PAX blues. It's like, I was really having a good time this year. But we also had more Zed Games down there. We were all sort of investigating. So, because there's no real order to how PAX runs, Tom, I'm going to throw it to you. What's something that happened at PAX that you'd like to talk about?
Something I want to briefly mention because it just released this week. I got my hands on a ROG. Xbox ROG Ally.
The new Xbox console.
The new handheld Xbox console. This one was really funny to try out because, of course, at PAX there are quite a few lines to wait in. The Xbox ROG Ally line leads you into a small booth where, upon you are presented with a ROG Ally and welcomed to sit in a massage chair. So I was asking this wonderful Xbox employee questions about the ROG whilst my calves and back and buttocks were being massaged by this chair. From looking at the ROG, they gave me the options to play either Silksong or the most recent Forza Horizon game.
Oh, yes.
And so I was like, yeah, look, I'll play the Horizon game because I want to see how it runs. And it runs really well. The screen looks super clear. It is like a little Xbox in your hands. Little current Xbox in your hands. I need to be specific about that. And all of a sudden, as I asked a few more questions, the massage chair started to make a bit more sense. Because when I asked him how much it's going to cost, and this is out there right now, the base model, which I had in my hands, was $1,000, or $999 specifically, and the deluxe model is a $1,600, roughly.
That sounds
which is a lot of money. That's more than 3 Nintendo Switch 2s.
They might need to whip out the wine to get you to buy that
Yeah,
one.
right?
Well.
So, and also when I asked, like, hey, so what's the battery life on this thing? And they said, yes. Depending on the game and the specs that you're running it on, it could range anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. So if you're playing something like Silksong, which isn't super hardware heavy, it might last a bit longer if you're running the game at a lower brightness and a lower frame rate and all that sort of thing on battery saver mode. Yeah, you might get 4 hours, but it's probably close. Well, and when they say 4 hours, they say really that means 3.5.
Because this is how numbers work at Microsoft.
Yeah, so that was the kind of feeling where I was like, oh, and like they said that like 2.5 hours and $1,000, and I'm like, ugh, and I'm starting to clench up, and that's why I'm in the massage chair, right? It's loosened me right back up. It's fine. Look, play Horizon. Look at the beautiful sunset. Look at the frame rate.
I mean, I'm starting to feel sold on this massage chair.
It's a good way to receive bad news.
You both have the Steam Deck, right? What's the battery life on that one?
Oh, I don't have a Steam Deck.
Oh, you don't have one? Oh.
Steam Deck
you're cool like that.
Varies greatly because not only does it obviously depend on what you're playing, but you actually have finer control of how much power is going in, so you can actually go in there and change that. For a while, I had it on the lowest voltage possible, and I didn't even notice. I was just wondering why some of the newer games I was playing were running so terribly, and I'm like, because I'm running you at about a 20th of your power. So yeah, that Steam Deck, look, for most play, it's about in the same realm. But you can muck around with it a little bit more in the internals. But also, the one thing that I just don't get with any other handheld device that's a PC based, why they don't have the touchpads that the Steam Deck has. It literally, I won't consider another one just because of that factor. It's a game changer for me. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
So the
Did it feel
new
good in the
Xbox.
hands?
Yeah, it felt light. It felt like pretty responsive. Like otherwise, it feels like a good handheld. But like. I'm going to skip it for the time being, personally.
So, first thing I did in the media hour was, first I went and played Metro Prime 4, because that was nice, little demo, there was no one there. Look, we'll talk about it when it comes out. It seems fun.
Yeah.
And then we lined up for Kirby.
Kirby's Air Ride, baby.
Yeah. And this then took up the rest of the hour, because they get you to go stand at a station, play a bunch of tutorials, do 2 races, then do this thing called City Rush, and then City Rush leads into another little mini game.
The City Trial, yeah.
And I'm like, okay. The next day, I'm walking past the Nintendo booth at the end of at the end of the day, and someone's sitting there. I'm like, oh, just checking. Did you change the way the demo runs? Because the way it was yesterday means that like 10 people get through in an hour. It's maddening. And like, oh, give us the feedback and everything. And the person I was talking to ended up being the head of promotion for Kirby Air Ride and Metroid Prime 4. And they were telling me that every single element of that demo experience has been approved and demanded by Sakurai himself. And at that point, I understood everything. They actually talked him down from making everyone just watch a video of him explaining the game for 8 minutes before they're allowed to touch a controller.
Wow.
They said, no, that's a step too far. But the game, I think the worst thing about the game was Sakurai really undersold it in his earlier this year, where he just said, oh, it's just Mario Kart. It is not.
No, it's very different.
Yeah.
I really hope that this game comes out with a demo before its release, because I think there are going to be some people who will bounce off it because it controls very differently, and it's a very different feeling game to Mario Kart.
It is. It kind of sold me on it, because now I'm like, oh, it is a new experience that I was not expecting. We are going to use a bit of time now to talk about some indie games that we saw on the floor. So, what jumped out to you, Natalia?
I want to talk about a little game called Cow Chess. Unlike the name suggests, there is no cows involved. Instead, it is a Smash Bros meets Worms experience, where basically you can only jump, grapple hook, and shoot a rocket. And it's basically, when you touch the water, you're dead, right, at the bottom. Yeah. And I really loved this game because it was just such a fun little like arcade experience. I played it with 4 people. At the start of the round, you get to choose where you are. So there's a bit of tactical, like, oh, I want to be next to this person, or whatever. And then whoever wins, basically, it plays out over like 8 to 10 rounds. And every 2 rounds, you have like a draw system of abilities where you can pick, like, whoever's coming last gets to pick first from these abilities, and they stack. So by the end of the game, you're like dashing, like rocket explosions that like dig
it is
through
like
things.
the go-to now of like self-balancing, and it's a structure that works so well. I was chatting to them, and they don't have any music in the game yet, so I was pitching we make a theme song. Just like, where's the cow, where's the chess, we don't know, play our game anyway.
Is this your audition?
Yeah. Oh no, I've already auditioned. I'm deep in the weeds now. What about you, Tom? What jumped out to you?
Well, I was a big fan of Pro Jank Footy. That was a big game over there. So it is the first video game being produced by Australian film and TV company Umbrella. So there's a lot of money behind this one. They were giving out nice little football stress balls and had a mascot in costume. Essentially what this is, it is an arcadey AFL game, but they're calling it footy because licensing around AFL can be weird. So essentially the way it works is it's your NBA Jam of Aussie rules football.
Yes.
And the way that it works is similar to cow chess. When one player scores a goal on the other one, they get to choose from 3 power-ups that'll last the rest of the game.
But they can range from just a useful, normal, boring power-up to something fun.
Yeah, you can have something as boring as extra sprint speed, or you can choose to have a special player join your team, such as...
your dad's car?
There's my favourite one. Of course, there's parodies of like real footballers, but then there's also Dad's Car, which is a old beat-up sedan that drives in from the corner of the screen and will run you down while you're trying to play Aussie rules football.
Now, and also, it being comedic and NBA Jam style, you don't really need to know anything about Aussie rules football, except when I played it with someone, we both fall under that category quite heavily, and whenever we kicked a goal, it kept saying behind, and it didn't tell us what that meant. I had to go look it up afterwards.
Well, it's because you're going to get a real goal, Paul.
I just kicked it between the posts. That's what
you kicked it between the little posts.
No, it was the big posts.
Yeah,
was it through your own goal then?
No, but it was like I wasn't in like the area I needed to be. I was like not far enough away, but also not close enough.
Listeners
like
at home,
I don't know.
I'm sorry, but Paul doesn't know how to play AFL.
I have no idea.
But yeah, it was fun. And some of the power-ups were very silly. My favourite one was dodgy remote, or someone sitting on the remote, which randomly switches the TV so it looks like someone sat on the remote and hit the HDMI button, so it's gone to a blank screen.
You get a DVD logo bouncing across the whole thing. In our game, someone got Invisible Team, and they thought that would be very helpful, and they were wrong.
Yes.
Because they couldn't see themselves.
There was a hilarious team that you could choose called the Coming Soons, and they're all just grayed out silhouettes of players. So, yeah, it's like a reference to old sports games that we all love, but a fun little thing. What about you, Paul? What do you like?
It's hard to pick out. There were so many things I like, and I love going through all the student games, especially.
Yeah, that was so good.
Yes, yeah, it's great seeing new talent coming up and going there. New Zealand had a really good showing, but one of my weirder ones was there's a game there called Tingus Goose, and it's that classic old story where a lady gets a baby in her belly, and then a goose gets absorbed into her belly, and then when watered, her belly explodes and a goose tree climbs into the sky, and babies come out of the top of the goose tree, and then limbs grow from the goose tree, and the babies must hit all the limbs on the way down to collect money, get more water to make the goose grow. That old tale.
Yeah.
And the animation is hilarious. I laughed actually a lot during the demo, and I'm talking to someone afterwards, and they go, "Oh yeah, I've got that on my phone." I went, "Oh, I didn't realize this game was out and on a phone." Okay, so I downloaded it, and here is my burp warning: do not download Tingus Goose on a phone.
Yeah,
it used to be a bit like that game, and then they made a complete change to the gameplay loop. And it has more like people that used to love a game, and now it's 0 stars that I've ever seen on platform.
Wow.
So. But the game they're making for PC and consoles is the original design with more in it, and it's really fun and funny. So if you don't judge it by that. Judge it what they're actually making, which was very funny and cool, and I really enjoyed that. Thank you, Stuart from Carrara! For passionate song.
Passionate song.
What are you? Very passionate. I'm excited. But before we wrap up, let's just do another quick round of cool things we saw at PAX.
Cool things.
All right. Headlice.
She's on it.
Headlice is a reverse horror game. The best way we workshop with the developers to pitch it. It's essentially Carry On, like the game where you play as the monster, meets Goat Simulator. It is, you play as a little headlice, and you control
kind of a Half-Life head crab.
Yeah, a Half-Life head crab, and you jump onto people and move them around. It's really funny ragdoll physics.
What about you, Tom?
I liked the game Doggy Don't Care. That is
yes, that was in the showcase.
Yes, it was. That is one of those games that is in the emerging genre of Untitled Goose Game-like, where you are put in a little sandbox level with a list of mischievous things to do, and you're playing as a little dog who was left home alone, and he is bored, so he's going to break things, he's going to smash through windows and pee on stuff, and you have a little list of mischievous things to get done. It was a fun little game.
Yeah.
While I was talking to the dev there was a small child in a Zelda costume who had come back to play that demo 5 times over the weekend.
And just on a line of this as well, a lot of the games we're talking about, and even more, are available on Steam as demos. There's the PAX 2025 Steam page you can go to, and it links to all of those. Also, at the moment, we'd be amiss if we didn't mention it, Steam Next Fest is on, which means even more demos. I've got about 100 installed at the moment, and it is mad. I don't sleep and have lost my mind.
That'll run through October 20th, so make sure to get in there and download some cool stuff.
Fabulous. That about wraps it up for us tonight. We'll catch you all next week, folks.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app,
or find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
See you next time.